Hello everyone, here is a question based on limiting reagent. 4 gram of hydrogen is ignited with 4 gram of oxygen. In that case, what is the weight of water formed is? First of all, we need to write a balanced equation for the formation of water. So, H2 gas reacting with the O2 and giving water. To balance the equation, we have to put 1 by 2 in front of O2. Now, to get rid of the fraction, I am multiplying the entire equation with 2. So, in that case 2H2 plus O2 giving 2H2O. What this means is that if we have 2 moles of H2 and 1 mole of O2, we would get 2 moles of water. Now, let us write the stoichiometric moles. So, we write the stoichiometric moles this way: number of moles of H2 divided by 2, whatever is the stoichiometric coefficient that we need to bring it down, and number of moles of O2 divided by 1 and number of moles of H2O divided by 2. Now, we need to find out whether H2 is the limiting reagent or O2 is the limiting reagent. Depending upon that, we have to equate this equation. So, let us find out the number of moles of H2 and O2 because the weights are given. So, the number of moles of H2 is equal to mass divided by molar mass. Mass given is 4 gram. Molar mass of H2 is 2 gram per mole. So, therefore, this will be 2 moles. Number of moles of O2 is equal to given weight is 4 gram, and for O2 the molar mass is 2 times 16. So, 32 gram per mole. So, therefore, this will be 1 by 8 moles. Now, limiting reagent is number of moles of X, the reactant, we have 2 reactants here, divided by stoichiometric coefficient of X, and whichever is the smallest out of this, that is the limiting reagent. So, let us find out the limiting reagent. So, in terms of limiting reagent, if you want to find out using the mentioned equation, so we have 2 moles of H2 and the stoichiometric coefficient is 2. So, therefore, this will become 1 mole, and then for O2 it would be 1 by 8 mole divided by 1, and that is equal to 1 by 8 mole. So, which is smallest? Obviously, O2 is the smallest. So, this means this is the limiting reagent. So, therefore, number of moles of O2 divided by 1 is equal to number of moles of H2O divided by 2. So, that is how we should equate. So, this means number of moles of H2O is equal to 2 times the number of moles of O2. Number of moles of O2 is 1 by 8 moles. So, therefore, number of moles of H2O is equal to 1 by 4 moles. Therefore, mass of H2O is equal to number of moles of H2O times molar mass of H2O. Number of moles of H2O is 1 by 4 moles. Molar mass of H2O is 16 plus 2. So, 18 gram per mole. So, this will become 9 by 2. So, that is equal to 4.5 gram. That is the mass of water. So, this means option 3 is correct. Let us talk the significance of limiting reagent. We found that O2 is the limiting reagent in this question, and this means that H2 is the excess reagent. So, how much is the excess and what is the significance of limiting reagent? What is the actual amount of H2 is required and how much is the excess? Let us talk about that. Number of moles of H2 we got is 2 moles. Number of moles of O2 we got is 1 by 8 moles. This is the excess reagent and this is the limiting reagent. So, if we want to talk about the significance of limiting reagent, then we need to find out how much excess of H2 we have. As per this equation, what we understood is that when you have 2 moles of H2, we require 1 mole of O2, that would give us 2 moles of water. But if we have only 1 by 8 moles of water, then what is the actual amount of H2 required as per this equation? So, we have to multiply with 1 by 8. So, if we do that, then that is 1 by 4. So, 1 by 4 moles of H2 is what actually required, but we have 2 moles. So, the excess amount of H2 we have is 2 mole minus 1 by 4 mole, and that will be equal to 1.75 moles. So, that is the excess amount of H2 we have. So, if we find out the weight of that, therefore, the mass of H2, that is excess, would be equal to 1.75 moles times 2 gram per mole. So, this will become 3.5 gram. So, that is the excess amount we have. So, this means we actually require only 0.5 gram of H2, and when we have 4 gram of O2, we require only 0.5 gram of H2, that is fair enough, but we have 4 gram of H2. So, this is something you need to understand while talking about limiting reagent. So, limiting reagent, what it actually means is that once that reactant is totally consumed, then the reaction will stop. So, this means it does not matter whether you have 10 moles of H2 or 100 moles of H2, it does not matter. If we have only 1 by 8 moles of O2, then we require only 1 by 4 mole of H2. That is what you need to understand here.